What's going on, guys? As promised, today I'm doing a video on the best beginner trimmers. I have had a lot of trimmers and I've used almost all of them, so I have decent knowledge on some of these trimmers. I know which ones work the best, I know which ones heat up, which ones blades slip, wall detailers, and I know which ones are the best for beginners, in my opinion anyways. So I'll show you which ones I have first, and then I'll get into my opinions on them. Alright, so I have the Andes Blackout Edition, I have the GTX, and the normal Andes T-Outliners. They're both modified. I have the wall detailers, I have the wall heroes, and I have the Andes Slimline Pro LIs. Alright, so the first trimmers I'm going to talk about are these three guys right here. I'm going to talk about them pretty much in a group because they're generally the exact same trimmer. These are just a limited edition. The gray ones are just the original ones with the normal blade, and the black ones are the GTXs, and they have a deep tooth blade on them. I don't really notice too much with the blades. These ones do cut a little bit sharper, I noticed. And I did modify these two. I wouldn't recommend doing it because it does cancel out the warranty, but I also noticed that it helps a lot with things like lining up around the ear, lining up the mustache, and it also helps with overheating. So the Andes T-Outliners are probably one of the top trimmers that you can get. They are great liners, they are workhorses. You can do parts with them, you can line up people, you can do the start of a bald fade. They're great for all of that. The only issue that I have with them is that they do overheat. So if you're gonna use them and just those trimmers, I recommend having two of them. I'll move into the wall detailer. And this guy right here is the first trimmer that I bought, and it's probably my favorite. It's very good for lining up. It's pretty good when it comes to doing parts, and it is great for balding out. This is my main thing that I use for balding out. I did buy a wall balding clipper, and I returned it because I liked using this better. So this is the main thing I use to bald out. The only issue I have with this trimmer is that the blade slips all the time. And it's really starting to annoy me. So I pretty much only use these now to bald out. So next I'll move into the wall heroes. These guys are great little trimmers. They come with their own little blade adjuster, so it's really easy to zero gap them. But these blades slip even worse than the detailers. I barely use these on anyone. I use them as a personal clipper now because I just don't want to catch anybody. They do get really sharp if the blade slips, so to me it's not worth it. They're easily the sharpest hitters that I've ever used. Now going into the Slimline Pro Li. I actually just picked up these trimmers right here. I think they are phenomenal. They're light. I love the fact that they're cordless. They're fairly easy to zero gap. The battery life on them is pretty decent. The only thing I don't like about them is that they feel cheap. The button feels cheap. The material feels a little bit cheap. But overall, they're great for lining up. I wouldn't suggest buying them for balding. They're not the best balding clippers, especially if you have them zero gapped. But overall, they are a great trimmer. So now that you know all the trimmers that I have and all the trimmers that I've used, when it comes down to what I think the best trimmer is for a beginner, I have a hard time deciding between these two guys right here. These guys are great overall. They're good for everything. Lining up, they're great for balding out. They just overheat a little bit quicker than I would like them to. And these guys here are phenomenal. The only issue I have with them is that the blade slips often, and you may catch someone as a beginner. My suggestion would be to test it on your arm or something like that before you use it. But when it comes down to it, you can choose either one of these and you can't really go wrong. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Let me know what you think down in the description. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me one of those thumbs up, and I'll catch you again in the next video. What's going on, guys? As promised, today I'm doing a video on the best beginner trimmers. I have had a lot of trimmers and I've used almost all of them, so I have decent knowledge on some of these trimmers. I know which ones work the best, I know which ones heat up, which ones blades slip, wall detailers, and I know which ones are the best for beginners, in my opinion anyways. So I'll show you which ones I have first, and